let me make something very clear. No, I don't know officially whether or not CM Punk and Daniel Bryan are going to AEW, although there's so much smoke I'd be amazed if there was no fire. But whatever the truth, we as absolute wrestling nerds should always allow ourselves to get excited about this kind of a thing, because that's the meaning of life. You get on the roller coaster and you ride it to Happy Town. Let's not pretend if this thing does go down, it's not going to be huge either. I mean, how huge it's going to be, we don't know. But I do know that people I used to chat to that were wrestling fans have been messaging me saying, "Oh, Simon, is the CM Punk thing true?" And when I say probably, they say, "Damn it, give me a date. I've got to tune in." And then because I'm a bored asshole, I've just been telling them every next Dynamite, because I truly believe if they do watch it, they'll have a good time anyway. Tony Khan doesn't seem either, which is absolutely mind-blowing. And if that is the case, we may be on the cusp of an actual wrestling earthquake. And I say that with all the hyperbole in the world. Why? Here's why. Now, firstly, what in the blue hell is a wrestling earthquake? Well, a good example, I suppose, given what may be about to happen, would be going back to when Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Hulk Hogan came together and formed the NWO. And no, I'm not saying that we should do this with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. In fact, I think from a business perspective, that would be really silly. But a wise man once said he or she or whoever who does not learn from history is doomed to repeat it. And I think we could be on the cusp of something just like that. Because when Hall and Nash did jump ship, it was enough for people to peek next door. By the time Hulk Hogan became the third man, forget about it, they were barging down the door. Fans essentially were going nuts, much as they had kind of done almost a decade previous, when it also came to the Hulkster. Because while we do focus on the WrestleMania 3 slam these days, the build up to it was nothing short of excellent. Because Bobby Heenan had spent a good few weeks going, "I can't believe that we're treating Andre the Giant like this. He's a legend, he's a hero, and all we're doing is putting praise onto Hulk Hogan, and I don't think it's fair." And everybody at home was like, why the hell is bad guy Bobby promoting a babyface so much? And then we found out. Because Heenan turned up on Piper's Pit and told everybody that he had aligned himself with Andre and that the Giant was marching towards WrestleMania 3 in order to get revenge on Hogan, and it was like, my word, wrestling earthquake. It was also fan-making, because as soon as Hulk had dropped that big leg over the Giant's neck to say, "Oh my gosh, it's time to launch Hulkamania into the stratosphere," everybody and their dog just wanted to watch WWF as all the numbers went up and all the business people were like, "Ha ha ha, we've done it." And it was all this that made that leg drop at Bash at the Beach 1996 even more impactful, because this same group of individuals had grown up on Hulk Hogan. So when he aligned himself with Big Kev and Scotty, no one could imagine this even being a thing that would take place in front of their eyes, so when it did, once again, they were hooked. It also underlined the fact that while they were a big deal singularly, when they came together as a trio, they were just explosive brilliance, which is what I'm getting at right now. Because while, again, not everybody needs to turn up at once, if 3 dudes was the magic potion for WCW back in the day, and wrestling is a cyclical business, then why can't 3 dudes do the same in 2021. And I know this is total fantasy booking too, but I made it very clear that I am a wrestling geek. But also, if I transported myself back to 1990 and went to a WWF show and said in about 6 years, Hulk Hogan's going to be in that there World Championship Wrestling, and he's going to be a villain, I would have been murdered because people would have felt insulted. Even the judge would have gone, Hulk Hogan as a heel, put him in jail. Which makes no sense, because I just got killed. All Elite Wrestling doesn't need to do this either. Like, I think just having CM Punk and Daniel Bryan is going to give it a huge injection of power. But if the past does represent the future, or at least gives us ideas of what we should do, then why don't we just drive a big dump truck load of money up to Brock Lesnar's house and throw it right into his face, while also admiring his lovely new hair. It sounds implausible, because of course it does, but if you wanted to do it, you could go out there and do it. I mean, it's been made abundantly clear that Brock is a free agent and that he is financially motivated, so if he did come in as the figurative third man, once again, wrestling earthquake. And sure, Vince McMahon would probably outbid Tony Khan because he'd be so desperate to keep Brock Lesnar in the WWF, but this is not a one-stop shop. You don't have to go with the super-duper big guns, because, for example, Braun Strowman is still out there. He's also another another free agent, and not only is he a big enough WWE star that some WWE fans be like, Braun Strowman's in AEW, I better check that out. But if you were just flicking channels and you recognize the man, well, you may just stop for 1 second. It's all about recognizing one of your own, which is why even Matt Cardona would fit this bill. I know that he's been in AEW for a cup of coffee, but people know him as Zack Ryder, and there are pictures out there right now of Daniel Bryan with the WWE Championship, CM Punk with the WWE Championship, and Zack Ryder with the WWE Championship, and you could take that and you could use it for all it's worth. And you don't have to stop there either. I mean, there's plenty of other WWE released talent you can go and knock on the door of, or of course we have the Forbidden Door with New Japan. So this is all about the fact that if we're going for a big push, my word, let's push and push as hard as we can. So at the risk of repeating myself, let's formulate a massive plan and ensure that we execute it in a small period of time, because again, it worked 20 years ago, it worked 37 years ago, why can't it work now? We've all heard the phrase, what's old can become new again, and this isn't a necessity of course, because let's not look past the fact that yes, CM Punk and Daniel Bryan are going to AEW. And the reason I want to make that very clear is because even 1 month ago, if I had told you Punk was going to return to wrestling, you would have just fallen on the floor, then you would have gone back to your feet and I would have gone, oh yeah, Daniel Bryan joining him too, and you'd be back down again. Because if you aren't trying to build the likes of Dynamite, establish Rampage and sell pay-per-views, these are the kind of realistic dudes you want to bring in. And I'm sure people say, what about The Rock and what about John Cena? But I would doubt they're ever going to head to TNT. It creates a buzz though, and as we've seen recently, the buzz and the atmosphere is kind of what wrestling thrives upon. Because all of a sudden you want to know what show are they going to debut at, when they do debut that show, what's the pop going to be like, and is the pop going to tie into them having a feud? I mean, AEW has been teasing recently that the very first match for CM Punk may be Darby Allin. That's not a timeline I ever thought I'd be a part of, and yet here I am. Plus there's also a chance that Daniel Bryan comes in and goes right after Kenny Omega, given the slight story shift with Hangman Adam Page. This is exciting and it should be getting you warm and fuzzy in your tum-tum. No one needs me to explain this either. Tony Khan and his group of EVPs are well aware of what makes a good wrestling product, but I just think sometimes as fans, we forget that 3-letter word that kind of draws everything together. And that word, of course, is pie. No, it's not, it's fun. Because it makes you feel good about being part of it, so the more we can do it, the more we should absolutely do it. And given that we may be on the cusp of something huge, quite ironically, maybe we should go all out. A terrible pun. I'm very sorry, but you stuck with me for this long. What else were you expecting? And even if I'm completely wrong about all of this, we don't get CM Punk, we don't get Daniel Bryan, I just think it's been absolutely faboo that we've been able to have these conversations, and there's always something else, let's face it, around the corner anyway. So it's happy days all round. Also, if nothing else, do not forget that at some point when the borders are open, we're probably going to get some kind of crazy Forbidden Door pay-per-view where it's AEW and New Japan and Impact and Ring of Honor and MLW and everybody wanted to throw their chess pieces onto the board. And I don't know about you, but as someone that's been watching this crazy sport professional wrestling for a long ass time, I would sit down and watch that and go, well, I do believe this is a wrestling earthquake. I mean, we now live in a universe where we could get Okada versus Daniel Bryan or even Tanahashi versus CM Punk. I ain't gonna moan about that. I ain't gonna complain. I am just gonna enjoy myself until the cows come home, because who doesn't like to take care of their cattle? I don't even know what that means, but I feel like I made my point. Now, please do leave a comment below and let us know what you think about all of this. CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Brock Lesnar. Hey, man, throw some names in there. Maybe I've forgotten loads. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com where you can read yourself some articles and stay up to date with the news. Come say hello on social media. And please do watch other videos on this here wrestling YouTube channel. My name's for What Culture. Thank you for joining me as always. Who knows what's going to happen with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, but I will be here for all of it because I am a wrestling fan. See ya.